New York City. The year is 1905. Every single day, massive steamships cross the Atlantic Ocean, carrying thousands of people toward a new life. Most of them arrived with almost nothing: a suitcase, a few family photographs, and a dream. For millions of Italian immigrants, America wasn't just another country. It was hope. They believed that if they worked hard enough, they could escape poverty forever. Many settled in New York. Others traveled to Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, and New Orleans. They built neighborhoods that reminded them of home: small grocery stores, Italian bakeries, busy family restaurants. Children filled the narrow streets while their parents worked from sunrise until late at night. Life wasn't easy. Most families lived in crowded apartments. Jobs were dangerous. Money was scarce. But despite every hardship, they believed their sacrifices would give their children a better future. What they didn't know was that they weren't the only ones arriving from Italy. Hidden among ordinary workers were men who carried something far more dangerous than luggage. They carried an idea that had already survived for decades on the island of Sicily, an organization built on absolute loyalty, complete secrecy, and ruthless violence. It had no official headquarters, no public leaders, no membership cards, yet politicians feared it, business owners paid it, police officers struggled to fight it, and those who betrayed it often vanished without a trace. This organization would eventually become one of the most powerful criminal empires in American history. The world would come to know it by one name: the Sicilian Mafia. But to understand how it conquered America's cities, we first have to travel thousands of miles away to a small Mediterranean island where the story truly began: Sicily. Long before the Mafia became a household name in America, it was simply an island struggling to survive. In the late 1800s, Sicily was one of the poorest regions in Europe. Most people were farmers. They worked long days under the burning Mediterranean sun, yet earned almost nothing. The rich owned the land, the poor worked it, and between them stood a government that was weak, distant, and often corrupt. In many villages, there were no police officers, no judges, no one to protect ordinary people. If someone stole your land, if a gang threatened your family, or if a powerful landlord decided to take everything you owned, there was nowhere to turn. People quickly learned a simple lesson: if the law couldn't protect you, you had to find someone who could. Powerful local men began offering protection. At first, they settled disputes, recovered stolen animals, protected farms from thieves. To many families, they looked like heroes. But protection came with a price. The men who offered safety soon realized something important: fear could be far more profitable than honesty. Instead of protecting businesses from criminals, they became the criminals. Shop owners were forced to pay for protection. Farmers handed over part of every harvest. Anyone who refused was made an example: a burned field, a destroyed business, or sometimes a body left in the street. The message was always the same: pay or suffer the consequences. These groups slowly became more organized. Families trusted only blood relatives. Every member swore absolute loyalty. Secrets were never spoken outside the organization. Betrayal was unforgivable, and silence became sacred. They even had a name for this code: omertà, the law of silence. Speaking to the police wasn't just considered wrong, it was considered the ultimate betrayal. Breaking omertà often carried only one punishment: death. Over time, these criminal families became stronger than the government itself. They controlled villages, businesses, landowners, and eventually, entire regions of Sicily. But the island was changing. Poverty continued to grow. Millions dreamed of leaving Europe forever. And when they boarded ships bound for America, the Mafia boarded with them. By the end of the 19th century, millions of Italians had left their homeland. They crossed the Atlantic with one goal: to build a better future. Between 1880 and 1920, more than 4 million Italians arrived in the United States. Most were honest, hard-working people. They became construction workers, factory employees, dock workers, tailors, barbers, and small business owners. But hidden among the crowds were members of the Sicilian Mafia. America was unlike anything they had ever seen. The cities were growing at an incredible speed. New neighborhoods appeared almost overnight. Thousands of businesses opened every year, and local police departments were often overwhelmed. For the Mafia, it was the perfect opportunity. They didn't need to conquer America with guns. They conquered it with fear. One of their earliest weapons became known as the Black Hand. Victims would receive anonymous letters. Inside was a simple message: pay a large amount of money, or your family would suffer. Sometimes the envelope contained a bullet, sometimes a knife, sometimes nothing more than a black hand printed on paper. But everyone understood the message. Many immigrants refused to contact the police. Some couldn't speak English. Others feared deportation. And many simply believed the Mafia would find them, no matter where they ran. Fear spread from one neighborhood to another. Shop owners quietly paid. Restaurant owners paid. Bakery owners paid. Even successful businessmen often handed over money just to protect their families. Every payment made the Mafia richer. Every successful threat made them stronger. Soon, they no longer controlled a single street. They controlled entire neighborhoods. Some politicians accepted bribes. Certain police officers looked the other way, and witnesses rarely spoke, because everyone knew the consequences. Breaking the code of silence wasn't just dangerous. It could be a death sentence. By the early 1900s, organized crime had quietly planted deep roots inside America's biggest cities. And then, everything changed. In 1920, the United States government made a decision that would accidentally create the greatest business opportunity the Mafia had ever seen: Prohibition.